I bought my condo for $230,000, let my brother live there rent-free for a year, and he spent $1,200 putting in hardwood floors. At Mom's birthday, she proudly announced, "We're giving him the house. He's earned it." Dad smirked. "That's how you earn my respect, son." I smiled. Perfect. By midnight, the floors were gone, movers had cleared his room, and by 6 a.m., I had 53 missed calls, a family group chat in meltdown, and one photo that shut them all up. That's when my sister Danielle, champagne glass in hand and smirk on her face, spoke up. "Funny thing," she said. "The deed's wrong. Turns out this house belongs to us, not you." The whole room went still. We were at our baby shower. Friends, family, co-workers, soft background music, balloons, charcuterie boards with tiny toothpicks. My wife, radiant and very pregnant. Danielle's words rang out like she was giving a toast. "Just a minor legal mix-up," she added. "We're fixing it. Don't worry, Mom. And I'll be moving in right after the baby comes." She clinked her glass, smiling like she'd just shared a brunch recommendation, not hijacked our home. Mom nodded beside her like some smug advisor. "It'll be good for the baby," she chimed in. "You'll need the help. Besides, that house was never really yours." I should have blown up right there, flipped a table, yelled, walked out. But then my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Don't react. They're recording you." That was enough to keep me still. I looked around. Sure enough, Uncle Richard's phone was half hidden, lens aimed at me. My cousin Eva too, ready to catch my outburst and spin it into proof that I was unstable, dramatic, unfit to raise a child. So I smiled, polite and tight, the kind of smile that hides a war. Then I quietly stepped away, opened the smart lock app on my phone, and changed the access codes. Danielle and Mom weren't getting back in. Not today. Not ever. And I wasn't done. One text, one legal form, one final move. By midnight, I had 64 missed calls. "My name's Nathan. I'm 33. A year ago, I would have told you my life was finally falling into place. Solid job in logistics, almost done paying off my mortgage, and after years of trying surgeries, hormone treatments, specialists, we were finally expecting our first child. The morning those two pink lines appeared was the happiest of my life. The house they tried to claim at the baby shower? I'd bought it before I even met Mia. Old duplex, needed work, but I put in the weekends to make it ours. My one mistake? Putting my mom's name on the deed as co-owner. The bank had wanted another signature for the loan, and she'd promised it was just paperwork. Her exact words. "This is just to help you, sweetheart." I'd never interfere. I believed her. Back then, I didn't know what she was capable of. From the moment I introduced Mia, the comments began. "She's a little cold," Mom said after our first dinner. "She doesn't feel like family," Danielle added. Like my life was subject to a family vote and Mia didn't pass. I tried to keep the peace. Fewer visits, polite conversations. But when Mia got pregnant, I thought maybe it was time to let them in again. Their first grandchild, after all. Big mistake. They started showing up constantly under the guise of helping. Danielle brought baby items we never asked for. Pacifiers, clothes in the wrong size, even a used breast pump that made Mia uncomfortable. "She's not even showing yet," Danielle said once, standing in our kitchen like she owned it. "Is she even eating right?" Mia smiled and changed the subject, but I saw her eyes. Then Mom got bolder. One afternoon, while Mia was resting, she said, "I was thinking, I should stay with you after the baby comes. Just for a few weeks, until you get the hang of things. Babies need strong female support." "No," I told her evenly. "Thanks, but Mia and I want to figure it out ourselves." She paused, then gave me that tight, passive-aggressive smile. Of course, if that's what she wants. That was the moment I knew she blamed Mia, for the boundaries, the distance, for me no longer being her little boy. It got uglier. Mia told me Mom had started hinting about her name still being on the deed. That if anything happened, she'd have a say. I confronted her. "You said this was just a formality. Why bring it up now?" She used that tone I knew too well. Condescending, disappointed. "Honey, it's not about control. It's about security. You're about to be a father. You can't do everything alone. And frankly, I don't trust her." I was speechless. Her, my wife, who had endured years of heartbreak to carry our child. Then Danielle joined in. "We've been talking," she said one night after inviting herself over. "And we think it's time to make a few changes. You've got this whole house, and Mom and I just want to be sure it's being used in a way that makes sense." "Change what exactly?" I asked. She shrugged like it was nothing. "Maybe Mom and I take the upstairs unit. It's just sitting there. You could move downstairs. Would be easier with the baby. More help around. More hands." I laughed, thinking it had to be a joke. It wasn't. That's when Mia stepped in. She looked me right in the eye and said, "If you don't set boundaries now, they'll trample right over both of us. I'm not raising our child like this." I agreed. So I told them no. Again, polite but firm. That's when things shifted. Danielle went cold, slipping into passive-aggressive mode. At family dinners, she'd throw little jabs. "Most women would kill for free help," she remarked once, glancing at Mia over her wine glass. Mom stopped speaking to Mia altogether. Then came the big hit. A week before the baby shower, I got an email from Mom's lawyer. Talk of clarifying ownership and protecting her rights and interests in the property. I didn't tell Mia. I knew she'd blow up, but I could feel it. Something was in motion. Still, I didn't see the baby shower ambush coming. When Danielle stood up and announced, "That house is actually ours," everything snapped into place. This wasn't just emotional games anymore. This was strategy. A calculated move. Mom backed her without missing a beat. "We'll be moving in right after the baby's born," she said, as if it were already settled. Then I got a text. "Don't react. They're recording you." Suddenly, it all made sense. The lawyer, the pointed remarks, the constant tension. They were baiting me, trying to make me blow up on camera, to paint me as unstable, maybe even unfit, and use it in court to grab custody of my own child. So I smiled. I opened the Smart Lock app, removed every bit of their access, Mom's, Danielle's, all of it. Changed the codes, disabled their key fobs. Then I made one more move. By midnight, my phone had 64 missed calls. By 6:13 a.m., there were 17 more. 81 total. Mom, Danielle, Aunt Nora, even one labeled family lawyer. Mia was still sleeping peacefully. I went to the kitchen and called Mom. She picked up instantly. "What's going on?" she barked before I could say a word. "Did you seriously lock us out? You announced at my baby shower that you were moving in." "I'm making sure that doesn't happen," I said evenly. "You don't get to make these decisions on your own, Nathan," she snapped. "We're family. We have rights. I'm on the deed." "Yeah, from 10 years ago, when I was broke and needed a cosigner. That doesn't mean you own my house." Danielle cut in. I hadn't realized she was listening. "We've been part of your life. We've supported you." "You've manipulated me," I said. "You've tried to control everything since Mia got pregnant." Mom jumped back in. "We only want what's best for the baby." "No, you want control. You think having your name on a deed gives you the right to run my life. It doesn't." There was a pause, and then Mom's voice dropped into that slow, dangerous tone she used to guilt me into giving in. "If you keep going down this path, you'll regret it. Don't do something you can't undo." "This isn't about undoing anything," I said. "If you want to talk, go through the lawyers. You're not setting foot in this house." I ended the call. My heart was hammering, but I felt strangely lighter. The relief didn't last. By 10 a.m., Mom had posted on Facebook, "It's devastating when your own child turns on you during life's most sacred moments. After all you've done for them. The lies they tell to justify cruelty. Shameful." The comments flooded in. Danielle dropped a crying emoji and wrote, "You deserve better, Mom. Cousin Jessica, I'm so sorry. You've always been such a loving mother." Another, "Don't worry. Truth always wins." Truth. They didn't know the truth. I didn't respond. I didn't tell Mia. Not yet. She didn't need another ounce of stress. She was 34 weeks along and had just begun sleeping through the night again. Then around noon, there was a knock at the door. Standing there was my Uncle Greg, Mom's brother, looking uneasy and holding a foil-covered pie like it was some casual holiday drop-by. "Hey man," he said. "Mind if we talk?" I stepped outside, shutting the door behind me. He let out a long breath. Look, I'm not trying to take sides, but your mom's a mess. Danielle too. They're saying you've lost it. Greg, did you come here because they asked you to? No, he replied. But your mom called me this morning in tears. She says you kicked them out. Changed the locks. I didn't kick anyone out. They never lived here. They tried to claim our home in front of everyone at the baby shower. What would you have done? He didn't answer. They think because her name is on the deed, they can just walk in and take over. But she's never made a single payment, never pitched in for anything. Now they want to help. But it's not help, it's control. Greg rubbed his jaw. Honestly, you're not wrong, but you know how your mom gets. Once she feels attacked. I didn't attack her. I set a boundary. She didn't like it. He gave a slow nod. I'll talk to her. Maybe cool things down. I thanked him, though I knew it wouldn't change a thing, because that night, the real hit landed. Around 8:30 p.m., I got an email from a law firm. Attached was a formal letter from my mother's attorney, demanding mediation over a so-called property dispute. She was trying to claim part ownership of the house, and wanted her access restored. Then the kicker. They were threatening to preemptively sue for grandparent visitation rights. My jaw locked so hard it ached. They were gearing up for a fight before the baby was even born. I showed Mia. Her face drained of color. This is insane, she whispered. They might even try to dictate how we raise him. They'll try, I said. But they won't win. That night I was on the phone with my lawyer, drafting legal documents on the spot. By morning, I filed a motion to remove Mom from the deed entirely, citing financial abandonment and sole responsibility for all home upkeep. I had years of proof, mortgage statements, tax receipts, repair bills, every cent paid by me, nothing from them. I also sent a cease and desist for harassment. Then I made one final move. I mailed Mom and Danielle a copy of the motion. No explanation, no extra words, just facts. No response that day. But by midnight, I had 64 missed calls. I knew then I'd taken back control. Mia gave birth 3 weeks after the baby shower fiasco. A boy, Liam, 6 pounds 10 ounces of pure lungs. Perfect proof I didn't need help from anyone who shared my last name. We told no one in my family. No texts, no calls, no social media posts. I locked it all down because the moment they knew, they'd try to make it their spectacle again. 3 days later, while Mia rested and Liam finally slept, an email came from my lawyer. Defendant has voluntarily dropped all claims to the property. No further legal action will be taken. Status closed. Translation. Mom realized she had no legal standing. All her talk about being on the deed meant nothing in court without a single financial contribution. No mortgage payments, no repairs, not a dime in 10 years. She folded instantly. I'd expected a fight, a guilt-laced letter, something. Instead, silence. Which worried me more, because people like her only go quiet when they're regrouping. Sure enough, 48 hours later, the internet blew up. Danielle posted a long, dramatic Facebook rant. Family is forever, but some people prefer power plays over building bridges. We tried to be there, but were rejected. She attached a photo of an empty crib with the caption, "Should have been filled with love." Instead, filled with pride. Cringe. But it worked. The comments rolled in. Aunt Cheryl, you don't deserve this. Some cousin I hadn't seen in 5 years. Praying for you. One of Mom's church friends. Shame on those who forget who raised them. They painted me as the unstable son, cut off for no reason, manipulated by his wife, while they played the heartbroken saints. But I had proof, documents, audio clips, screenshots, and I wasn't afraid to use them. I posted just one thing. A photo of Liam asleep on my chest with the caption, "My only priority." No room for fake love, power games, or guilt dressed as support. Family is earned. I let the comments burn. Within 10 minutes, Danielle texted, "Wow. So now you're playing the victim." I didn't reply. Another came. "You think this is over? You've destroyed our family." Still nothing from me. Then came a call from a blocked number. I let it ring. Seconds later, a voicemail landed. It was my mother. Her voice trembled with fury. "You're pushing me away just for wanting to help, because I love you. You think your little family makes you untouchable? Keep hiding. But one day, Liam will ask where his real family went, and I won't lie for you." Then she hung up. I kept that voicemail, not for revenge, not as evidence, but as a reminder that she would never deserve access to my son. But the storm wasn't over. 3 weeks later, a message popped up on LinkedIn from someone I'd never met, a woman named Natalie. "Hi Nathan. I work at the same nonprofit as your mom. I just wanted to say I admire your boundaries. You're not alone." I replied, "Thank you. Can I ask why now?" Her answer hit like a freight train. "She's been telling people you're emotionally unstable and difficult. Said Mia isolates you, that the baby was an accident, and you're overwhelmed. But I've seen her use the same manipulative tactics on others. You're not the crazy one." That's when I realized, it wasn't just family. My mother had been smearing me publicly, playing the role of a betrayed matriarch abandoned by her damaged son. I didn't scream. I tightened my defenses, upgraded the security system, installed a smart lock, appointed a new admin, made Liam's daycare records private, no relatives listed, no exceptions. Even had our pediatrician note that no extended family was to receive any information. Meanwhile, Danielle kept posting. Her tone grew more desperate. Funny how some people weaponize fatherhood to isolate others. Some wives manipulate in silence, but the damage is loud. I ignored every one of them. Then something unexpected. Jason, Danielle's husband, texted, "Can we talk?" We met in a gas station parking lot at night, like we were plotting a heist. He looked wrecked, drained, beaten down, hollow. "I'm not picking sides," he began. "But I understand now. She's been telling everyone your wife's manipulative, that you're broken. But I live with her. I've seen how this family operates. It's toxic. Always has been. You did the right thing." I asked, "Then why are you still there?" He gave me a look I recognized instantly, the look of a man still chained by guilt and obligation. "Kids' mortgage. I'm not ready yet." "You will be," I said. He sighed. "By the way, your mom's telling people you cut ties because you're in anger therapy." I laughed. "If I wasn't before, I might be now." Jason smirked. "If you ever need someone to back your story, I'm here." 2 days later, I got a handwritten card, no return address. Inside was a folded photo of Liam and me from my own social post, and a single line in my mother's handwriting. "One day, he'll see through you too." That's when I changed our last names. Not legally yet, but everywhere it mattered. On social media, in daycare files, even on Liam's embroidered blanket. Because if he grew up believing that legacy was worth protecting, they'd win before we even began. Now they're the ones locked out, peering in at a life they'll never touch. It's been 9 months. Liam's crawling, pulling himself up, laughing at mysteries only he understands. And me? I can finally breathe. No missed calls. No fake apologies. No emotional landmines buried in family group chats. Just silence. And I've never cherished anything more. I still think about the baby shower. The way they staged it, glasses raised, camera ready, a public ambush. That day drew the line in the sand. I'm glad it happened. It forced me awake. I once believed family was forever. That blood was enough. That loyalty was automatic. But I've learned different. Family isn't who claims you, it's who respects you. I grew up thinking I had to earn their love by paying for things, staying quiet, playing the dutiful son. But it was never love, just leverage. When I stopped fueling the machine, they turned on me. I used to wear guilt like a second skin. Every boundary came with hours of doubt. Now I say no, and mean it. I've built a new kind of home. One that's more than walls and locks. A mental and emotional refuge where my son will never feel love is conditional on obedience. I don't badmouth them to Liam. I won't poison his future with my past. But I'll tell him the truth, that love without respect isn't love, that help laced with control is still control, and that protecting your peace isn't selfish, it's fatherhood. The wildest part? They've never apologized, not for the lawsuit, not for the lies, not for trying to humiliate me in front of my pregnant wife and half her friends. And I no longer need them to. Because closure doesn't come from an apology, it comes from no longer requiring one. I know they still watch, from mutual friends, Fake accounts, whispered updates via well-meaning cousins. Let them. They'll see a family thriving without them. They'll see a boy growing up in a home grounded in respect, not fear. And they'll see me free from the role they tried to trap me in. If you're reading this and feel like your own family has weaponized guilt against you, hear me. You're not weak for stepping back. You're not heartless for protecting yourself. You're not the villain just because you stopped playing the victim. I once thought leaving meant failure. Now I know it was the beginning of my freedom. And Liam will never have to wonder if he's loved, because I've done the work. I broke the cycle, ended the performance, and I'll never let it begin again. 3 months later, another letter arrived, handwritten, no return address. Inside was a photo of my mother outside a rehab facility, holding a whiteboard with that day's date. Below, just 5 words. I'm trying for him, please. No speeches. No demands. No manipulation, just that. I stared at it for a long time. For the first time in nearly a year, I didn't feel anger, just exhaustion. I don't know if it's real, or just another act. But I do know this. Forgiveness doesn't have to mean opening the door. Still, should I let her back in?